This is your gateway to the latest trends in the Gulf, bringing you exclusive insights and thought-provoking discussions. Welcome to AB Majlis, an Arabian Business Podcast. You can find our weekly episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more exclusive content, subscribe to us on arabianbusiness.com. Welcome back to another episode of AB Majlis. I'm Tala Michelle Isa, Chief Reporter at Arabian Business. Today we have a very special guest who needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. We have the founder of SellAnyCar.com and the board member now of IMENA, Saygin Yalcin. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you on the podcast, finally. All right, so let's start with your most recent news. I saw recently you just led a $135 million raise into IMENA, and you joined the board as well. So what convinced you to make this move now?
I think we need a great story again in the region. We have made a few great stories, but I think we need more. And we had different phases. I think when I came here 16 years ago, it was a great story to start anything online. Right? It was the startup mentality that we really needed. The tech startup mentality.
Yeah.
And then we moved into a phase where great stories were just being able to raise a lot of money, like $10 million, $100 million, and these were the exciting stories. And I think now, after there were some exits, for example, where you had stories like, Souk.com Group sells to Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? That's a great story, which I was lucky to be part of. And then we had a phase where we said, all right, what is coming after exits? And we haven't really seen many big tech IPOs. And I think this is the next great story that we want to create. We want to create the next internet champion for the Middle East. Mm-hmm. So if you think about investors in developed markets, they don't need proxies to kind of get exposure to certain sectors, such as the tech sector. You don't need a tech sector proxy in the US. But in developing markets and emerging markets, you do need proxies where you can get exposure to certain sectors with one company. And we've now created the largest, marketplaces conglomerate in the Middle East.
Oh, it's amazing to see. I mean, we've seen so many companies go public and private in the UAE, but it's still in its, infancy. And like you said, it'd be nice to actually see these blockbuster tech IPOs. Do you think this is maybe going to set the market up for more such IPOs in the coming future?
Yes, it sounds weird, but it's very easy to raise money and kind of become a big company. It sounds weird, but it's very hard
it's a big statement.
to be big and make money.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of tech companies, they became big, but they never made money. And that's why they don't go public, because it's not allowed. You have to make money to go public.
Of course.
There are some secondary markets, smaller markets where there are some exceptions, but the liquidity is less on those markets. So generally, we call this the Champions League of tech startups. Mm-hmm. If you can actually go public and make money. And this took a while, right? We had to build a business that makes money. Now, it sounds so weird, but in the tech industry, people didn't really care about making money. It was more about how much can I grow, how much can I raise, and then somebody will pay for it. Mm-hmm. And that somebody usually is another company that wants to lose money, but more. Okay. So generally speaking, I think this is where we actually have to prove that we add value to the market. Because I always say, the ultimate proof that your company adds value is when you can justify a margin and end up making a profit. Mm-hmm. So we are proving that now.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So now you've gone from founder to boardroom investor. SellAnyCar.com is obviously part of this group that's going public. You know, what's your play in all of this?
So I've been a co-founder of the group. I've been a founder of SellAnyCar. I've led this, and I continue to lead the group. Even after this consolidation, I will be obviously part of the management, part of the board, and continue to do what I've been doing now with a, I would say, broader focus on strategy and but continue to be operational. I think I will not lose that. I always said I'm this type of guy that digs out the raw diamond and then gets it to a point where it could become jewelry. And when you kind of create jewelry, you need a great team. So to dig out the raw diamond, maybe you can do it with a smaller team. But to make a jewelry, you need a very, really world-class team. And yeah, that's kind of an analog to what I'm going to do.
No, that's a good analogy. That's definitely a good one. But what does success look like for you personally when it comes to this IPO? And what's the, I guess, estimated time frame? When do you expect to actually go public? Because we're still in the pre-IPO phase, aren't we?
Exactly. So this is phase 1 of the pre-IPO closure. So we do have phase 2 as well coming up. We will need, and this is, again, this might happen, so 2 to 3 years from now. We are all having a clear path to an IPO, but we will see how time treats us.
So the intention is there, but how much do you still need to raise?
We don't need to raise. So all our companies are profitable.
Okay.
We could go public as is,
Okay.
but I think it's always good to have a larger buffer and a stronger cash position, and also give some liquidity to very early believers. And I think that's answers your first question, what is success? I think success for an entrepreneur is ultimately multiplied, realized shareholder value. And each one of those words are very important. Multiplied, you can multiply a lot of things in your head. Realized is the hard one, right? You actually have to realize the shareholder value that has multiplied. And that is ultimately my goal and my job.
Interesting. Do you know there's a theory that a couple of friends of mine who own smaller businesses, they always say the second you go public, you lose control of the company, it's not a good thing. Did you have to change your mindset a little bit before making this decision? How do you see it, I guess, is my question.
I always am for that route that is best for the company. So my job will not change. I'm still going to continue to try to multiply and realize shareholder value. That's all I'm going to do. Now, there are some edgy things that I've been doing. And usually when you say, oh, you're public now, you have to kind of calm down. That's not going to happen. So I was the first CEO of vlogging on YouTube 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that social media is going to be a crucial part of businesses, especially online facing consumers. And many did not believe in that. It sounded weird, and more importantly, they said it's for kids.
Social media. Oh yeah, with the YouTube vlogging and stuff.
Yeah, why are you doing this? Later on, other social media platforms obviously got added. And yeah, it is going to be similar. They're going to again say it's weird, and then they act like it's normal. That's why one of my favorite quotes is, "What are you doing today that sounds weird but will be considered normal in 5 years?" So first they laugh, and then they smile at you.
So that was social media, but what are you doing now that is probably perceived as weird and will be normal?
Well, there are many things that perceived to be weird, but I don't kind of always publicize it.
Okay.
So in terms of products, for example, we created, well, it stems from a fundamental change in my principle. I always considered in the beginning marketing as a tool of growth. And I think it's a race to the bottom. I think it's a means of making things bigger but not better. So my latest principle change was, we don't want marketing to grow. We want products that grow our business. So the principle's name is product-led growth. And we did this with Buy Any Car. We launched it in October. We talked about it where we launched something quite extraordinary. It was the first online number plate valuation tool.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Wasn't a Dubai number plate the most searched one in the world? Is it A1?
Yes, and it's also the most valuable in the world.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give a tool for everybody to see if they're sitting on a gold mine and say, check out how much your number plate is worth.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. There are, when we launched, there was 50,000 valuations per day being done. We now crossed 3 million. So it's really, really a
Per
viral.
day?
No, we don't have that
Okay.
many people.
Oh my God, I was like, what
No, no.
population is
Yes, so basically it's pretty much almost everybody now kind of has used it or is about to use it.
Okay.
As I said, we've just launched around
Is it
like
October,
7,
November?
8 months ago.
Yeah.
And that was one piece of the puzzle. So the roadmap actually consists of products that people love, and that's how we justify a good business. Not, I'm going to show you an ad 10 times, and if you don't click, I'll show it to you 100 times.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be profitable.
Definitely. But there's something that you do specifically as a CEO that is actually quite different than most people that I have come across through my reporting is everything you do goes viral.
Yeah, you think so?
How?
No, the things that I do that don't go viral, you just don't see.
Oh, okay. Probably. But
Yeah.
I mean, the number plate valuation tool, that exploded all over the internet. People
Yes.
were talking about it locally. So yeah.
So I
it's
say,
pretty
if
cool.
you have a 1% chance, try 100 times. It will give you like 66%, something like that, 63%.
Love the statistics. I need to start doing that. Okay, great. So yesterday when we spoke briefly, you mentioned a new tool where people could scan their car and instantly get the valuation. Scan any car,
Yes.
which is perfect branding for you. Let's
Yes.
talk about that. So tell us about how that works.
So how did it start, right? Sell any car allows you to sell any car
yes.
in 30 minutes. Buy any car allows you to buy,
Buy any car.
in maybe 30 days or whatever, 1 minute if you want. But now scan any car, which is part of Buy Any Car's app. It allows you to, well, take a snap of a car, and then it does something like magic. So it will tell you which car it is. It will tell you when it came out. It tell you how much it's worth. It will tell you who owns it, if the owner registered with us and allowed us, obviously. It also tells you which number plate it has and how much the number plate is worth. And it also allows you to see similar cars that are available so you can buy them right away or chat with the owner. It allows you to give even an exact value for that car, that if you own it, you can sell it to us right away. And that's all with one picture.
Wow.
And it is obviously now in the back end, there's a lot of AI going on. There's a lot of data. So tens of millions of data points around car owners and cars just in the UAE. And the good thing is that it even works internationally. So we're going to focus on the UAE and Saudi Arabia first. And I think it's, again, something that is quite unique. And I hope people will love to use it. It's going to be in the app stores now. So download the app, it's for free.
Interesting. So it's only in the UAE and Saudi for now, and then you'll expand
Well, you
it
can
further.
try it from other parts of the world. It will still give you similar information, but it won't tell you, for now, it won't tell you how much your number plate is worth. But it will tell you how much your number plate in Germany would be worth if it was a Dubai plate.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so it recognizes the format and then says, well, if it was a Dubai plate like yours, then it would be worth this much.
Interesting. And so what's the AI model behind all of this? Like,
So
what are you using?
there is a lot of modules. So what our AI strategy in general is, we are not an AI company. Obviously, we don't just ride on the wave because it sounds interesting for investors. We don't claim to be AI suddenly out of nowhere. We're a car trader with a focus on tech. And what we have done is we have become AI literate and communicative. What that means is basically we are AI ready. We can share information without sharing sensitive information with closed source platforms. we are utilizing open source platforms where we have built our own infrastructure. And then wherever we need certain modules that complement our AI infrastructure in general, we plug in. We sometimes create our own plugins, and sometimes we use a third party. The overall result is what we have built. Each module might be from third party that we have put together, but the data comes from us. And I don't believe that AI software is going to be valuable in the future. I think it's going to be commoditized. What is going to be, and has in the past probably 15 years been valuable, is the data. Data is the gold for AI.
Yeah, and still is, definitely. All right, I think we spoke a lot about all of this, but I wanted to ask you, a thought occurred to me while you were speaking earlier, when we're talking about your platform. As a founder, as an owner of a business, what do you think of a buy now, pay later type of, like, is that an option
A
for
credit
cars?
card?
Yeah, like Tabby or all of those.
Oh,
is that
the
something?
BNPL models.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It works in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
Especially,
work
I
for
think
you?
here in this part of the world, it works really well. Especially, I think in Saudi, because credit cards weren't really popular.
Yeah.
But generally, a credit card is buy now, pay later. I think the model has great potential here.
Yeah.
I think in other parts of the world where credit cards had great penetration, it's going to be mediocre business. Let's see how Klarna's IPO will look.
Let's see how it goes. All
Yeah.
right. So I wanted to go back to AI. You previously said, I think this was a LinkedIn post when I was doing my research before today. You said that AI is underhyped. I think it was a post maybe beginning of last year. Where do you stand on that opinion today?
So I think the more I deal with AI and the more I look into it, the more fundamental it looks. So what I mean with underhyped is people haven't realized the change that is coming and has been coming. It is a change that is not happening every year, it's happening every month. What we've seen in paradigm shifts that usually happen in decades now happen every month. It's extremely fundamental. So if I had to put it in a nutshell, is AI is going to change the world from emotion-based to rationality. And it has immense consequences. Today, everything around branding evolves around emotions. Pricing is around emotions. Generally, the behavioral economics in general is based on emotions. And today we have not realized that there is only one fundamental difference between AI and humans. AI is geochemistry and humans are biochemistry. So at one point of time in evolution, geochemistry evolved into biochemistry. And from there on, the evolution theory will tell us that humans evolved. AI has no biochemistry, it has geochemistry. It's basically geographic extraction, pretty much. And we are biologic evolution. So that's the fundamental difference. So everything else is processes that happen either in our brain or on a computer. Now, if you go to those fundamentals and see what will be the difference, you will see there will be some biologic barriers that humans do not want to or even can penetrate. For example, in practical terms, now I was very theoretic, but in practical terms, if you fast forward this, we'll get to a point where humans will just reject dealing with AI. Like, you don't want to have a robot boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife.
Some people do.
I think there is always going to be some exceptions to the rule, right?
True.
But I don't see that we will cross that biologic barrier. It's just fundamental in nature that biochemistry suddenly will say, all right, we're now going back to a mixture of bio and geochemistry. So I think that's a barrier. Another barrier would be what we have seen probably like 3-4 years ago. You remember when we had these glasses that augment you into
the metaverse.
The metaverse, pretty much the sense of physical being without actually having somebody physically next to you, right? You basically have a big screen in your face.
Yeah.
But our biological barrier has told us, no, you get dizzy.
True.
So unless our biology changes, we will have that barrier. So, and until that point, we will assimilate more and more towards usage and integrating with AI, but that barrier will not be crossed. Hopefully. Otherwise,
Hopefully.
you will get empathy and love that are fundamental parts of biology. And just say, I could also get it from geology, which is pretty much dead.
It's fabricated.
So the difference between being dead and alive, that's the ultimate barrier between AI and human. AI doesn't understand. AI simulates understanding and processes information. Humans understand and is still, so far, the most efficient way of processing data. So with least energy requirements, we have the highest output. So it's efficient, not effective, but it's the most efficient.
That's one of the best ways I've heard someone talk about AI. And I also feel humans are still deciding how they want to use it, to what extent, all of that.
I think that's the phase humans are in now. It's basically just, oh, what type of tool is this? Which ones can I use? Oh, I reduced my Google searches by 90% because I'm using a chat tool for that. That's the first phase, and we are in this hype cycle. That's fine. If you talk about ultimate AI integration into our lives, I think it will stop, as I said, at the boundary between biology and geology.
Interesting. But when it comes back to business, your applications of AI, I mean, obviously you have Scan Any Car now, and I know that you've deployed it across your platform. What's one AI use case you would like to deploy, even if it's like not possible?
So let's go directly back to the present. So now, a very simple and fundamental change for marketplaces, for example, and this is going to be a bit technical, but I want to explain how AI, even a small piece of the overall value creation mechanism, can have a fundamental implication on the whole business. So, marketplaces, let's take a classifieds model, for example, right? Where you can list stuff and you hope somebody will buy it from you. These platforms, they make money as soon as they think they're going to lose control over that transaction. What that means is, when you list something, you publish your phone number and or your email address, whatever it is, and then potential buyers can contact you. So if the platform does not charge you before that, they have no means of forcing you to pay. Because you now can exchange phone numbers with the buyer and seller, and they bypass you.
Yeah.
That's why you see there is something called listing fees. You list, you pay, and then people see your listing. Listing fees are dead. AI killed it. And many haven't realized it. Buy Any Car has realized it as the first one in the world. We are saying we have created a marketplace where you do not pay for listings. And I'm not saying about, oh, we'll charge you later, maybe once the platform is big. No, we don't charge you for listings because AI has shifted the point of loss of control further down the funnel. Meaning AI can realize when you're actually going to lose control over the platform. platform, I mean the transaction, and it's now moved into the communication part. So, without going into further details, AI has killed listing fees for classifieds. It fundamentally changes the monetization model because it can process millions of data points, chats, interactions, almost real time, and then interact and trigger paywalls when it need be.
And so what has changed in your business model today?
So
terms of
first of all,
monetization?
we've created a business model based on this change,
Yeah.
which is the Buy Any Car C2C platform. For Sell Any Car, everything has become more efficient. So we also see that our hiring behavior has changed.
Yeah.
We look at our team and they are much more effective. So if I look at the developer now, there is his code and then there is this live coder, which is kind of an AI that codes many lines of code, and then we just review it. So it's kind of like at least doubling on, if not tripling, the speed of coding. So we hire, we're more picky in hiring. We make sure that AI has no chance of replacing that position in 6 months or 1 year. We don't want to waste people's times. We also are not a company that is looking to replace existing team members. I think what we're doing is we removing all the boring tasks, the repetitive tasks that humans shouldn't do, and focus them on what makes humans special. Another example is, for example, the call center we have, right? So instead of having a human call our customers and reminding you of your appointment, it's very robotic. Hey, you have an appointment tomorrow, just wanted to remind you. That kind of can be done by an AI.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that call center agent will lose her or his job. It's basically we're now focusing them more on empathetic calls, inbound calls, where it's where there might be some emotional situation. Hey, I am in an emergency. I need my payment a bit faster, or I need this and that complex situation solved. I have this family situation. This is where humans still have emotions and should show emotions.
Yeah.
If I have an emotional situation and an AI is acting emotional, I feel kind of disrespected. Like, don't act like you have emotions.
Yeah,
Like when
true.
you, for example, an AI tells me, "How are you?" I know it doesn't care. like,
Yeah.
like what do we want? If I say bad, what would it do? Like show emotions? It will fake emotions. So it's not real. So don't try to be real. Just focus on what makes you special. You can process millions or trillions of data points a second. Do that. But don't try to be human, because we have humans for that.
Interesting stuff. I mean, look, we're in the final segment of our interview, and I really want to talk about the hard stuff, entrepreneurship. You've seen so much, I guess, over the years with the launch of your business and how much you've scaled it, and now pre-IPO. So let's start off with some advice from you. What would you tell new entrepreneurs today?
Oh, wow. I wrote a book about this. So you want me
Yeah.
in one sentence?
Yeah,
Don't
sure.
if you can tolerate pain. I think entrepreneurship is very painful. It has a lot of ups and downs, and most of the times stuff doesn't work. Now, if you still want to do it, and you can endure pain and are happy with delayed gratification, that I always say building a great company should take decades, not years. If it's years, you're pretty much flipping a business. If it's decades, you're actually building long-term, proven value for the market. Now, it really depends also fundamentally of what you're trying to build. I do not necessarily recommend building a rocket ship. You can also build a car. What I mean with that is I usually have these 3 phases. I say there is this bicycle phase where you have to grow with your muscle power. and then you get to a point where you might need petrol, and you build a car. But at one point of time, you realize, are you happy with that car, or do you really need to build a rocket ship? Do you need kerosene? And that's when you might get into kerosene, which means venture capital.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's no way you can fuel your car with kerosene. You have to build a rocket ship. And you can build something huge, or you can destroy everything you have. So it's not necessarily the definition of success just building rocket ships. 4 in a million companies in China are unicorns. 9 in a million in the US. Maybe around 20 in a million in India. Everything else is a car, is a regular business. So defining success as the 4 in a million, the 9 in a million, these rare occurrences is wrong. I think don't be discouraged if you're building a great car. Most of the businesses are cars or even bicycles.
Mm-hmm. Interesting stuff. Now, you've also been in the spotlight for over a decade now. Has there been something that came with fame that has impacted you in any way, especially business-wise?
Well, fame. I mean, I'm not a celebrity. I would
You're
say
a local celebrity,
I
I
am
think.
kind of. So look. What I like about the definition of fame is being known and liked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are known and not liked. Some people
Yeah.
are liked but not known. I think a cool combination is both. So I like that about it. So I think, business came before I started social media. So I pretty much kind of learned a lot on social media, derived actually from my business knowledge. For example, being likable is very important in building teams. Like, people like to work for people that are likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter at one point of time how much you get paid. If you get overpaid, then you might even work for people you don't like. But that's not a sustainable business if you have to overpay your people because you're just a jerk. So I think it's good business decision to be likable. And with social media, I think it was very similar. So I said, no negativity. There's no point. Like, if you can't say something nice, just don't say it.
Mm-hmm.
You have enough negativity in the world.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to add more onto that. So that was one of the learnings I had in both, where I said, let's just be positive, because as entrepreneurs, you're an eternal optimist. You always think you are one out of the 4
Billion. Was it million?
yeah, billion-dollar businesses, or actually you building these rocket ships.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, they go hand in hand. So if you want your own voice and you don't need to be dependent on media companies, even though I love Arabian Business and all these outlets, they are supplementary and complementary to your voice. It shouldn't be your only voice.
Yeah.
Right? And I think social media has added your voice directly to your potential audience. And I think that is maybe even the major driver for why I kind of am talking directly to the audience.
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting. It's definitely democratized a lot of things for some people. All right, last question.
Okay.
Very interesting question, in my opinion.
All right.
If, God forbid, Sell Any Car disappeared tomorrow, what would you do instead? Or what would you do next?
Oh, I would sleep.
You would sleep?
Yeah.
You don't get much sleep?
Sometimes I would just relax for a day or two, and then I'll start another one.
Okay. It's a short and sweet answer. All right. On that note, thank you so much, Saygin, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and thank you to all our subscribers. Sign up to ArabianBusiness.com for all exclusive content.